You were born with the ability to hang from a bar by your hands. Not trained, born with it. And then your brain quietly deleted it. In 1891, a doctor named Robert Wiedersheim published a list. It contained 86 organs in the human body that he believed were completely useless, leftovers from a previous version of ourselves. He called them vestigial structures. Over a century later, we now know he was mostly right, but also spectacularly wrong about a few of them. Because some of these ghost features, they're not dead code, they're sleeper agents. And the story of how they got inside you starts about 3 million years ago on the African savanna, with a species that was half ape, half something new. 3 million years ago, Australopithecus afarensis walked the earth. You'd recognize her as Lucy, one of the most famous fossils ever found. Lucy stood about 3.5 feet tall. She had long arms, curved fingers, and a brain 1/3 the size of yours. She spent part of her life in trees and part on the ground, and her body was loaded with features designed for that dual existence. Here's the thing. When her descendants, your ancestors, committed fully to walking upright, to living on the ground, to cooking food and building tools, the body didn't get a redesign. There was no update, no patch. Evolution doesn't work that way. It just stops selecting for things. The old features stay in the code, and you inherited all of them. Here's something that will change how you look at babies forever. Place your finger in a newborn's palm. They'll grip it hard, so hard, in fact, that many newborns can support their entire body weight from that grip alone. This isn't a cute baby thing. This is ancient survival programming. Primate infants cling to their mother's fur as she moves through the forest canopy. Can't grip? You fall. You fall, you die. So evolution burned this reflex deep into the brainstem, the oldest, most primitive part of your brain. It fires without any conscious thought. But here's what makes it a ghost feature. By 6 months, it's gone. Your developing cerebral cortex overrides it. You gain voluntary control of your hands and lose the automatic grip forever. The hardware is still there. The wiring is still there. But the signal is blocked. You have a superpower from 3 million years ago, and your own brain turned it off. I want you to try something right now. Put your forearm flat on a table, palm facing up. Touch your pinky finger to your thumb. Now flex your wrist upward slightly. See that ridge running down the center of your wrist? That's the palmaris longus tendon. Now here's the wild part. About 1 in 7 people reading this don't have one. It's completely absent, and they've probably never noticed. This tendon helped our ancestors grip branches with extra wrist flexion strength, essential for arboreal life, totally unnecessary for texting, typing, or literally anything you do today. Evolution has been slowly removing it from the human population. If you don't have it, congratulations. In this one small way, you're more evolved than your neighbor. Surgeons actually love finding this tendon in patients because it does so little that it's the perfect spare part. They harvest it for hand reconstruction surgeries. Evolution's leftovers recycled by modern medicine. Every time you step into cold air, every time a song gives you chills, every time something scares you, tiny muscles under your skin contract. They're called erector pili muscles, and there's one attached to every single hair follicle on your body. When they fire, your hair stands up and your skin puckers into goosebumps. In a furry animal, this does 2 things. In the cold, raised fur traps a layer of warm air against the skin. Instant insulation. When threatened, puffed up fur makes the animal look bigger and more dangerous. Think of a cat arching its back. Both of these functions require one thing you don't have: thick fur. So what happens when these muscles fire in a modern human? You get tiny bumps on your mostly hairless skin. No insulation, no intimidation. Just a pointless response playing on a loop millions of years past its expiration date. And yet, the emotional connection remains. You still get goosebumps when music moves you. The survival response got repurposed into an emotional one. Ghost code, rewritten by feeling. Your ancestors needed big jaws. Their diet was brutal. Raw tubers, tough leaves, uncooked meat. All of that required massive chewing force and extra grinding surface. Third molars, wisdom teeth, were essential hardware. Then two things happened. First, stone tools. Ancestors could cut and pound food before eating it. Second, and far more importantly, fire. Cooking breaks down food fibers. Softer food means less chewing. Less chewing means natural selection stops favoring big jaws. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the jaw shrank. The brain case expanded. The face flattened. But the DNA instructions for a third set of molars didn't get the memo. So between ages 17 and 25, your body tries to install teeth into a jaw that's too small for them. They come in crooked, impacted, infected. Nearly 85% of people eventually need them removed. Your body is literally building parts that don't fit the current model. For decades, the appendix was considered the ultimate ghost feature. A useless worm-shaped tube dangling off your large intestine with no purpose except to occasionally explode and try to kill you. Doctors removed them casually. Textbooks called them vestigial. Case closed, except it wasn't. In 2007, researchers at Duke University discovered something remarkable. The appendix acts as a safe house for beneficial gut bacteria. When a severe infection wipes out your intestinal microbiome, think cholera, dysentery, the kinds of infections that were constant 3 million years ago, good bacteria survive inside the appendix. After the infection passes, they emerge and repopulate your gut. It's a biological backup drive, and it's still functional. Studies now show that people without an appendix are more susceptible to recurrent gut infections, particularly Clostridium difficile. The one body part everyone agreed was useless, it was working the whole time, quietly, in the background, like a program running in safe mode that nobody thought to check. Robert Wiedersheim's list had 86 useless organs. We've since crossed most of them off, not because they disappeared, but because we finally understood what they do. Your body isn't a clean machine. It's a palimpsest. Layer after layer of old instructions, written over but never fully erased. And every ghost feature you carry, every goosebump, every phantom tendon, every silent reflex, is a letter from an ancestor who survived long enough to pass it down to you. You're not just living in a body, you're haunted by one. Now you know the ghost code your body's been running for 3 million years. Subscribe to Bow the Body Decoded, so you catch the next time we decode the ancient software running inside.